Hello and welcome to another video. I'm Maz and today I'm in Gloucester. And in today's video, I'll be trying out this Mercedes CLE. A huge thank you to Mercedes-Benz of Cheltenham Gloucester for this opportunity. If you are interested in this car will be available in Mercedes-Benz of Cheltenham Gloucester, or of course your nearest Mercedes garage. A quick overview: the Mercedes CLE was launched around 2023, replacing both the C-Coupé and the E-Coupé, kinda like a modern day CLK, which was a Mercedes coupe of the 90s and 2000s that sat above the C-Class and below the E-Class. Now apparently this car was supposed to be a more practical option to the C-Coupé and a sportier option to the E-Coupé customers. It's based on the W206 C-Class. There's a diesel CLE300 and a 6-cylinder CLE450 and a forthcoming CLE53 and 63. This particular one is a CLE300 4Matic with a 2-litre petrol engine. And due to how new this car is, that's pretty much it with this overview. So coming to the front, this is what the CLE looks like. Very similar to a CLA. Not that the CLA was a very bad looking car. Interestingly, they linked it more to the E-Class by having these two dots on the headlights. And I also like the blue accents on this headlight. On the C and E coupes, you would have dots around the grille, known as the diamond grille, but in this they upgraded them to become tiny Mercedes stars. And of course the plastic 3-pointed star means this has the radar guided cruise control. This particular one has a silver lower lip, but if you option for the night pack, this will all be in gloss black. And of course you've got the Mercedes-Benz emblem up here as well. Interestingly, it also has the double bubble bonnet as well, as seen on other Mercedes coupes and convertibles. And generally speaking, it's very evolutionary from their previous designs. Coming to the side, almost identical to the C-Coupé, except that it's actually longer. Once again, I'm not complaining about the design. I actually quite like the look of the old C-Coupé. And I forgot to mention the front end is definitely a lot better looking than what you get in a 4 Series. One thing I'm not a big fan of are these wheels. They are diamond cut, but these sections here on the wheel, which kind of makes it look like a wheel trim despite being an alloy. Camera here on the side for 360 surround. I forgot to mention, here's the front one from earlier, coming to the back. One thing I really don't like about the back is that even though this is a petrol, you get fake exhaust tips, and the real ones are underneath. The CLE also comes with the light bar that's now seen on many cars today, including other Mercedes cars. The tail lights are okay, though I do wish that they redesigned this reverse light section. And of course this particular one has all-wheel drive. On the C-Coupé, there was no external release for the boot. You either had to do it from the key or from the switch on the driver's door. This is what the key looks like. It's very similar to what you get in an S-Class, and I do think it's an improvement over the previous design. The previous design to me just looked a bit bland, but this one is a bit more distinct. But luckily on the CLE, you can open it from the outside. You just press on the top half of the 3-pointed star, and there we go. And this is how much space you get. And interestingly, despite being a coupe, you get a takeout hook here, a net on the side, and underfloor storage with the famous Mercedes foldable basket. Mercedes is a German car, so there is a first aid kit in the back. And while we're here, let's open that box. So it starts off flat, and then all you have to do is just, there you go, it just straightens itself. I've driven the C43, and I can promise you this basket is very, very useful. And then to undo it, you just fold here, and fold here, and then these collapse, and then back in here it goes. Also, because it's a German car, you got the mandatory warning triangle as well. And then to close the boot, you either press this button, and if you want to lock the car completely, you press this button here. Since it's an AMG line, I would have loved to have a little lip spoiler here, but I know the CLE53 will have that. Coming to the side, you get a very massive fuel door, and I'm guessing they did that just so they can put the AdBlue here for diesel models. Coming inside, the interior is exactly the same as a 206 C-Class, and of course this particular car is the Premium Plus, so you get the sunroof here. And because this car has back seats, just pull on this tab. There we go. Seat automatically moves forward, and now I'm going to try getting in the back. So here goes, getting in the back of a CLE. And pull back. Unfortunately, the door has to stay open since I can't reach it. But sitting in the back, I do have lots and lots of space. I don't feel cramped at all. It is a bit dark with the darker headlining. And you also get a nice hook there for your coat. And because this is the Premium Plus, you got the Burmester sound system, and the ambient lighting extends to the back as well. Because this is a coupe, you only get 2 seats, and you do get 2 cup holders in the middle. The one is taller than the other, and a little slot there for maybe a pen. And yes, you do get rear climate controls as well, which do look very nice, though I do wish that they kept the old turbine vents from the E-Coupé. And of course they click when you close and open them. And the ambient lighting extends to the footwell as well. Once again, to get out, just pull on this tab and then push forwards. Now coming inside, you get this very fancy seatbelt butler here. Let me show you that again. So here it is, handing the seatbelt right now, but if I open the door, it goes back into place. And when I close the door, try that again, it gives you the seatbelt once again, which I really appreciate. It's been a Mercedes hallmark for a really long time as well. And I know both the C-Coupé and the E-Coupé and even the S-Coupé had this feature. It will eventually go back in its place, but as I mentioned, the interior here is closer to C-Class than to E-Class. Though that being said, it does feel very nice in here. And you do feel fairly cocooned since the dash is ever so slightly higher, and these seats, which I'm guessing are coupe specific, are a lot lower, or can be moved lower if you prefer. Here is the point of view. I forgot to mention about the doors. They do have this floating grab handle section here. Once again, Burmester speaker grille, and you get this island here to open the door, lock and unlock, memory seats, ventilated seats, and of course heated seats. Once again, this is the Premium Plus. Steering wheel, I'm not the biggest fan of this generation of steering wheel. I don't like how underdressed these prongs look, and of course they're already a bit smudged. Interestingly, just like the S-Class, you get this massive screen here, which I prefer the older style of having it up here instead, or integrated to the dash, which the current E-Class has amended. That being said, you do get this nice ashwood veneer here, and you do get these stripes here, which add some design. You get leather up here as well. AMG line is standard, so you get these AMG branded mats, and these alloy pedals as well. Even the switch for the headlights are knurled. You get that same knurling around the start stop button, and the ambient lighting is extended onto the air vents as well. And the entire glove box releaser is in silver as well. And it's quite a big one as well. This car does come with a perfume that gets released through the air vents, but it's not in the car right now. If you want, you can open and close the boot from here. The door bins are fairly small, but there is a small section here for what I'm assuming could be a can. And the bottom is in this textured pattern, probably to hold it in place as well. And whilst the top of the door feels nice, and the centre, the lower part of the door is very cheap plastic. But the worst plastic here has to be this section here. Mercedes have been putting really cheap plastic there for a while now, and I'm guessing it's going to stay here for many years to come. Gone is the rotary selector. Instead, it's all either on the touchscreen or on these switches here, with the other prong controlling the screen here. And this armrest is very, very generous. You get 2 USB-Cs in there as well. And if you open this, you get 2 cup holders, a place for the key, and a place for your phone. And the place for your phone has these 3-pointed star pattern once again. And to close this, you just press this button again. I'm glad this car does not have piano black, though this reflective finish does flicker when driving around. So personally I would have had that in satin, maybe to match this as well. And here's what the seats look like. Whilst this car has some very generous bolstering, they are not wing backs, so your shoulders don't get the same support. The convertible CLE is already out, and I'm guessing this is where the air scarf would have been for the convertible variant. And here is the panoramic sunroof, which operates through here. The car is off at the moment, so if we just turn on the accessories, you get this very nice Mercedes-Benz startup. And this turns on as well. And once again, you can control this screen with this dial as well. You also get some ambient lighting on this overhead console. And to operate the sunroof, you just swipe like this. Now it's popped open, once again, closed, and one more time. Now the blind is closing. And reverse. That's better. Once again. The back tilts and it opens all the way. And you also get this little wind deflector here as well. So let's close up again. Since the accessories are on, here's what the MBUX infotainment system looks like. This is your home button. You can get apps on this device as well, though whilst not in there at the moment, you can actually get Angry Birds on this system as well. The HVAC is all on the screen as well, which I'm not a big fan of. But they are always there regardless of what menu you're in. And unfortunately, Mercedes do not come with a heated front screen. There are no heating elements on the front.
In order to use this function, you have to have online voice control. Please take a look at your Mercedes Me settings.
And this system always interrupts every time you speak. So once again, home button here, that's the map. And if I put the car into reverse, the badge on the back pops out and you get a 360 plan view of the car. And if I put it into drive, the front camera shows up as well, and if I turn, it even rotates. You also got this section here, so that's your volume, that's your mute, that's the power button. That there is the fingerprint system that will automatically set everything in here to your desired preferences. Hazard is a solid button, and you do get this very nice upmarket indicator tick. Let's turn that off. This button here brings up all the functions, such as head-up display, which is right here, and you can choose to have that on or off. Same with the seatbelt feeder, or the seatbelt butler as I like to call it. The interior protection, lane keeping assist, and you got the park assist. And I don't like the fact that the ESP system is through this screen. And of course you can choose to change manual shifting as well, since all CLEs are automatic and they all have these paddles behind the steering wheel. And yes, they are mounted to the wheel as well. This here is a blank. I'm guessing that's where the convertible roof would be for the soft top model. Once again, here are your cameras, and this is your dynamic mode. But of course the car is off at the moment. And generally speaking, I do think this system is very smooth and slick and very little lag. But I still prefer to have the dial down here. But at least the next best thing is available here. Also, you can get seat massage as well, with 5 different types of massage, though some of them are driver only. So you can adjust the seat kinetics, the lumbar, the side bolsters, the automatic position, and you also get 64 different types of ambient lighting. And they even went through the effort to have...
results were found.
And they even went through the effort to make the car in the screen right-hand drive as well. And finally, the dials. So it's currently set into classic mode with the map in the middle. If I swipe this dial here, you can choose what to have in the center section. And if I press the home button here, I can choose to have which dials I would like, such as the sport mode, the classic, the nav, which looks like this, have the assistance show.
I can do things for you whenever you want, such as calling someone, writing text messages or playing music. I can also answer your questions, for example, about the football results or the weather forecast. Because my heart's in it, I know everything there is to know about driving in your vehicle. For example, you can ask me, "Hey Mercedes, what kind
See what I
of
mean? This
safety
thing won't shut up.
systems are available?"
That's better. But yes, overall this is what you get behind the steering wheel. And you got other settings as well, such as head-up display, settings up here for the head-up display, speed limit, or you can just have a minimal head-up display here. For the time being, let's go for sport, which also changes the design of the center screen as well. So that's the exterior and interior done now, so let's see what this car is like to drive. So, foot on the brake, press the stop.
Online voice control for this service.
Cancel.
Please check your...
There we go. And finally, seatbelt on, put it into drive, and away we go. So from first impressions, the engine is very, very quiet, which can be an appeal for many commuters and also maybe a few E-Class coupe customers as well, since this car is appealing to both C
You can
and...
connect your phone now. Do you need help? Could you repeat that, please?
Shut up.
In order to use this service, you need online voice control. Please check your Mercedes Me settings.
One thing I don't like about this car is that this car has a B-pillar. I wish that this car was pillarless, and I think it would have been the complete package in terms of style. Let's move the seat a little bit further back, that's better. And I do appreciate that the fact you can sit upright like this if you want, or you can sit low down, depending on your preference. And the head-up display is very, very useful. And straight into stop-start traffic in Eastern Avenue we go to.
Multiple results found. Where are we off to?
Cancel. I'd rather they stick to the system where you just press the button to activate the voice system.
Okay, driving recommendations are now activated.
Shut up. Cancel.
In order to use...
Cancel. So from stop-start traffic, this car does do very well. The accelerator is very, very smooth. And thankfully, this car has the hold system as well. So if we come to a stop, I can then take my foot off the brake. And that seat massage is really, really nice. Rush hour seems to have begun here in Eastern Avenue. But the car copes very well. Acoustically, this car is very, very isolated from the outside world. And I can easily see myself driving one of these. albeit maybe the 53 version. So as far as stop-start traffic goes, I'd say it exceeds my expectations. It almost feels like an S-Class in terms of the refinement and how well it deals with these undulations. Being a Premium Plus, I'm guessing this car has the air suspension. And take this right-hander. How does it do on a tight roundabout? Oh, I forgot to mention the steering wheel is offset to the left ever so slightly, but it's very, very minimal that it doesn't really bother me at all. Here we are in Barton Street.
Starting route guidance to Barton Street, Gloucester. In 300 yards you will have reached your destination, Barton Street.
Cancel. As I was saying, I was in Barton Street and we're going through all those speed bumps. It copes well. Undulations. Here's another one. And then gradually decelerate.
You have reached your destination, Barton Street.
As I was saying, it does the bumps very well. Here comes another one. A few rough edges around the road here, but it tolerates them brilliantly. Oh, here comes a dodgy one. A few creaks and rattles, but it dealt with those bumps very well. It's currently rush hour here in Barton Street, and yet I feel like I'm in my own bubble. Speed bump, and gradually come to a stop. Luckily I can use the steering wheel to control the infotainment system. Let's change the seat massage to...
In order to use this service, the massage function is already activated.
See what I mean by how annoying the system is? So the infotainment system, generally speaking, is very well, but the voice system is unbearably intrusive. I'm sure there's a way to turn off the system, but at the moment I haven't found it. Probably the biggest surprise about this car is this massage system. Normally they're reserved for S-classes, but it's also found in this CLE, which is closer to entry level rather than flagship. And I'm guessing they did this because it's the only coupe currently available in the Mercedes lineup, bar the GT. Because originally you had the C-Class coupe, the E-Class coupe, and the S-Class coupe, but all three of them have been dropped, and you just got this one coupe instead that fills in the gaps between C and E. Yeah, I know I've mentioned it before, it's just the case that it's replacing all those models. Oh, here's one thing I really like. If I get really close, the head-up display turns into parking sensors. Displays a plan view of the car, and it shows by colours on how close you are to the obstruction in front. And of course, it also shows it over here as well. So I forgot to mention about the steering wheel. It's a bit flatter on the 9 in 3 sections, but not as much as on the previous steering wheel. So for me, it would be the previous steering wheel's prongs, but with this...
Unfortunately, I can't tell you that at the moment.
As I was saying, I would like the previous wheel's design, but with this wheel's rim.
In order to use this function, you have to have online voice control. Please take a look at your Mercedes Me settings.
And one thing I really like is that this car has this traffic light view, so if you come to a stop, it then turns on the front camera and it shows a picture of what's going on in front.
You have not set a destination.
Showing you the red light.
Several results available. Where would you like to
Cancel.
go to?
And it shows you the traffic light there, which I think is very convenient in case it's obstructed by the mirror or the pillar. Leaving Barton Street now. The accelerator does have a dead spot. I'm assuming they did that in case it makes these hold system a bit too sensitive. But yes, after you put your foot on the accelerator, you have to push it a little bit more to actually make the car move. A bit pedantic.
I wasn't able to find any results.
A bit pedantic, but something that I've noticed while driving stop-start, currently in the city centre now.
And what is your intermediate destination?
Shut up.
In order to use this function, you have to have online voice control. Please take a look at your Mercedes Me settings.
Green light, so very busy over there, but not so busy here. Literally saying anything will trigger this system. The stalks feel very, very nice. And I also like how the wipers are integrated into the indicator stalk. So you don't need two separate stalks for those two systems. And of course the other one is the automatic gear selector, which I much prefer over having it down here. This means this entire center console is freed up for cup holders, phone charger, and a place to store your key.
You need online voice control for this service. Please check your Mercedes Me settings.
And this much larger center console. Here comes the sharp left turn. Will there be any body roll? Any body roll? Here we go. A little bit of body roll, and because these aren't wing backed, I was pushed into the seat, but that's what you expect from a car that's more comfort orientated rather than sport. But I'm sure the CLE53 will fill in the sport gap for those who prefer. And I'm also curious to see what the performance seats will look like in this car. And of course, as always, if you have a Mercedes that you'd like me to review, feel free to
use this service. You need online voice control. Please check your Mercedes Me settings.
And of course, if you have a Merc that you'd like me to review, feel free to reach out. And on to Met's Way. Nicely damped indicator stalks. And let's see what the drive mode selector's like. So there's Eco. So how does Eco drive? I've been doing this.
In order to use this service, you need online voice control. Please check
Shut
your
up, cancel.
Mercedes Me setting.
I've been doing this entire journey in comfort. So let's see what it's like in Eco. With Eco, it doesn't like to rev as much. It does feel a bit more gutless, but I'm assuming they did that for MPG purposes. Let's put that back into comfort for now. I forgot to mention, with the Super Sport dials, you also get a G meter on the left. Bearing in mind, this is not an AMG that I'm driving. One last thing to check. Put it into sport mode. Annoyingly, on the previous C-Coupé and E-Coupé, you had a Sport and then a Sport Plus. But in this, it's just Sport. So I do wonder what it's like compared to what would otherwise be Sport Plus in the previous cars. Now in dynamic mode, I'm guessing that sound is coming through the speakers, because it does sound different to Comfort and Eco. And I forgot to mention, you can also pick individual, so you can pick Comfort of one thing and then Sport the other. Drop back. 3, 2, 1. Kickdown is very good. In terms of delay, it's very, very negligible. And whilst the sound does sound like it's being pumped through the speakers, it still makes a good noise after all. And it's easily fun enough for most people. though from my perspective it does not feel like a Sport Plus mode that you would get in a previous shape Mercedes Coupe. So you just pull a paddle and it goes into manual mode. This particular car has a 9-speed torque converter automatic. It's not as responsive as a ZF, but as far as torque converters goes, this is still good enough. Though I would prefer Mercedes to use the ZF 8-speed found in pretty much any other modern automatic. And I'm guessing the 9-speed is there to keep the revs low at 70. Which, at 70 miles per hour, it only revs to 1400 RPM, which is very, very quiet. But yes, it's not the sportiest car to drive. It's sporty enough for most people, though I would say a 4 Series would be more engaging to drive, but this is still sufficient for everyone else. And to put it back into automatic, you just pull and hold the up paddle. So let's take this car back to the compound and finalize this video. So that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed watching me try out this Mercedes CLE. Like the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you are new, ring the bell to stay up to speed, and I'll see you guys next time. Cheers!